Donald Trump. He had the same courage, he had the same strength, he had the same faith as everyone in this room, and I saw it firsthand. When he hired me, we were looking at 4 criminal cases, thanks to the oppressiveness of Joe Biden and his corrupt actors in his corrupt Department of Justice. I represented President Trump in the Washington, D.C. case, where, as you may know, they attempted to characterize him as an insurrectionist, as someone who hated the Constitution, as someone, you may have heard those same sentiments against the people in this room. And we knew it was false, and we knew they were lying, and we also knew that we would overcome. Because no amount of oppression can ever defeat faith and courage and prayer. And this room is a living testament to that. That picture of President Trump has special significance for me because we were in New Jersey looking at 4 cases, and we got word that this prosecutor in Atlanta, persecuted, wanted to take his mugshot. And the FBI and the CIA and the Secret Service, they have the president's picture. There was no reason for him to have his mugshot, but this persecutor, and you may have experienced persecutors, I don't know in your experience, but this persecutor wanted him to come down to Atlanta. And we were begging her, we don't want you to do that, there's no reason. And finally the president said, I've had enough. I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna take a picture. And all the nerdy lawyers, myself included, oh, you can't do that, Mr. President. You know, it's the President of the United States, I'm gonna do it. And he went down there and he took that photograph. It's iconic. It's beautiful. Most beautiful photograph I've ever seen. And he called me up the next day, he said, what'd you think of it? I said, it's pretty powerful. He said, John, it's gonna be more famous than Sinatra's headshot. He was right, because that man was able to take a negative and turn it into a positive, and turn it into a representation of a single man fighting oppression and fighting for our country, which is exactly what you've been doing over the last 5 years. I will say he was with you every step of the way in my conversations with him. He stood side by side with you all. No one can possibly understand what it means to go through the criminal justice system unless you've lived it. No one can understand the fear of separation, the fear of loneliness, the effect on families, the effect of children, the destructiveness of it all. And for what? Because one man, Joe Biden, wanted to crush a movement? Crush a political movement. We have to connect the dots. It started in 2016. It started with Obama spying on Trump's campaign. It went to Russiagate, that fake narrative. It went through the impeachment process. It went right through J6, which was a total setup and an outrage. I saw the photographs. Let me say, I didn't know much about J6 when I got involved. I don't know why the president hired me. I'm just a lawyer from New York City, and I don't work for a big firm. No big firm would take on the case, by the way. No one would do that. So I'm very grateful he did. It was the best thing I've ever done as a lawyer, because I believe being a lawyer is fighting for justice, not using the legal system to oppress and crush people. And that's what Biden did, and that's what your prosecutors were doing. No question about it. But you got to connect the dots. And the dots were focused on one objective by Joe Biden and his corrupt minions, and that was to crush a political movement, a ground roots political movement that sought the best in America. And Joe Biden wanted to crush that from the very top to the very bottom. It didn't matter. And anybody that got in the way would be destroyed. I saw it firsthand. I also felt the oppressiveness of walking into a courtroom in the District of Columbia and what that felt like as an American citizen. The heaviness, the weight. They were there for one reason: to get us, to put us in jail, and to crush us. They thought they could do that. You had these lawyers, many of them Ivy League trained lawyers, former Department of Justice lawyers, in the Department of Justice lawyers. Some of them, I hate to say it, had been colleagues of mine. They had one purpose and one purpose alone: to destroy American citizens that they disagreed with. That was their objective. And you've lived it firsthand, and you've seen it. And it's incredible. And thanks to people like Cynthia, candidly, thank you. Because without you, in every dark moment in American history, there's been a beacon of light. And you were that beacon of light. And without your courage and strength, we wouldn't all be here. And the courage and strength of other patriots. Our work is not over. Our mission is not completed. The fight has just begun. They're already talking about coming after us if they win in the next election cycle. Can you believe that? They haven't had enough. They want more.
You're not going to let them, John.
Nobody is. Nobody in this room is going to let them. Absolutely not. We know what their goal is, but we're going to win because our cause is righteous, and our cause is just, and our cause is ordained. All they have is power and the lust for power, and we will defeat that. But our mission is not completed. I also work for an exoneration project in Kansas City. I know firsthand that getting out of jail is just the first step. We have to deal with issues of reintegration, of jobs, of getting licenses back, rebuilding families, rebuilding lives, and that takes a lot of work. And I know, Cynthia, you are dedicated to that, and everybody in this room is dedicated to that. We also have to hold those who oppressed us accountable. I'm sorry. I'm a criminal defense lawyer, but there has to be justice. Those agents who cruelly put you in leg irons for no reason at all, who kept you in jail for months and years without due process, who cruelly attacked the very foundation of humanness, American citizens, they have to be held accountable. But not just those on the front lines. The ones who met secretly in the White House, putting it all together, constructing the narrative, organizing the troops behind the scenes. The ones who are at the center of this oppression must be held accountable as well. And I have every reason to believe that the Department of Justice now, in the hands of folks like Ed Martin, and Attorney General Bondi and the President of the United States, will make sure that that happens. We don't seek vengeance, we seek justice. Justice for all, including everybody in this room. And finally, we can't be complacent. We can't give up. We can't stop now. The fight is just beginning. We have to make sure that our voices are heard, and most importantly, we have to make sure that the guarantees of the Constitution, due process, the right to counsel, the right to fair hearing is preserved, because it was denied to all of us every step of the way, and that should never, ever, ever happen again in America. Thank you very much.